Apex Online Racing is sponsored by Elgato, who created this lovely Stream Deck. For more information about the Stream Deck, the link is in the description below.
A very warm welcome and good evening, morning or afternoon from wherever you are. Welcome to one of the tightest, most difficult and potentially most exciting Grand Prix of the season. Monaco, the second smallest country in the world. I believe Vatican City is just slightly smaller there. An incredibly rich country as well, which is probably why most Formula 1 drivers live here. Very good reasons to do so. Lots of casinos, boats, and everything you can ask for when you have the money, that is. Of course, we all know that this is a track where qualifying is key, as well as the pit strategy. Therefore, the qualifying is going to be extra important for this race. So let's see in a moment where everybody will be. You can already hear the people racing in the background, but here's a bit of an oversight of the standings currently. Taisu leading that driver championship, followed by his teammate VAM. Therefore, Alpine is also leading the constructor championship, obviously quite richly. Johan, after two P11s, is desperate for some points most likely, and therefore he'll be hoping to score some today. The team standings then, as I said, the Alpine team is currently leading the constructors championship. So then, let's actually have a quick move on to the qualifying and let's see what will be going on tonight in Monaco. Of course, this race and this qualifying once again brought to you by driver 61 and Simsok. Several people already out on their hot lap, so let's have a quick look at several data thingies here and off we go. Who will claim pole position today? Rocky is already in a invalidated lap, therefore moving out of the way of the Mercedes of either Zane Fast. It is actually Zane Fast who is currently on a hot lap. And moving down, one of the tightest and slowest, the slowest hairpin here in the entire season. Now, as for the weather, it's currently a bit cloudy, which might be promising for the race. I'm not entirely sure if you have seen the real-life Spa race today. If you haven't, you've probably heard about the fact that it wasn't really much of a race, with only 4 laps behind the safety car. Still, people got points there, so interesting stuff there. Fortunately, that will not happen here today. Johan then, setting the first lap time of today with a 1 minute 10.8. Followed by the Gaffa, who goes more than 2 seconds faster with a 1 minute 8.7, so that's quite impressive there. A strong start for him. Zane then coming across the line in a 1 minute 9.8. It appears to me that the stream is slightly laggy, so I might, apologies for this by the way, might have to change several things here. Let's put a few things down to make sure that the quality of the stream will hopefully improve just enough so it will not lag anymore, because it's kind of weird how that happens. Anyway, the Gaffa's time is pretty good here. In fact, it is that good that it will be remaining the first time for now, as Persegidi has come in with a 1 minute 9.0, 3/10 of the current pole sitter at the time. Several others coming across the line, and that is Johan going back into the pit lane, and Guillemot here coming across the line, starting another hot lap here. Off he goes and into the first corner. No mistakes should be made. Let's follow him from within the car and see what happens. Tight right-hander here. Several people have complained about this track, about the fact that it's incredibly understeering, that the curbs are even more deadly than usual. We thought they couldn't get more deadly than in Bahrain, but here you go, Monaco, even more dangerous. Now that might be an interesting thing to remember for the race. How well will it go? Through the chicane, down to the swimming pool. Now this is the part where I personally have the most problems. This part here, very tight, very near. Ooh, that went actually quite well. Very near the berries there. Into the final section of the track. Right-hander. And going towards the finish line here. Guillaume over that 1 minute 3.9 across the line. And it's a, well, it's still a 1 minute 3.9. Not entirely sure what that time was already there. It wasn't there when he started his previous hot lap. A bit strange. Good evening and welcome if you've joined the chat, by the way. Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions on who will win this race and who will set pole position, of course, first and foremost. As I said, the pole sitter is likely to be the winner, unless, of course, strategies get messed up, and a safety car is likely here, considering that this is a bit different from real life. Anyway, I blew the second drive to go at the 1 minute 8 and 1 minute 8.8 currently. Just 1/10 of the still pole sitter, the Gaffa, who is already back on his second outlap, trying to improve his time. Speaking of little interesting details, let's see the tires here. I do believe his previous time was set on a soft tire, otherwise she will not easily be able to set a 1 minute 8. Waiting for several cars to move out of his way. Or in fact, he is the one moving out of the way, of course. Several cars behind him. I do believe there's some serious issues with the stream tonight. I will try and fix that as soon as I can. Let's hope this will improve it by a little bit. Doesn't really seem like it. Anyway, Guillemot then, having set a blisteringly new time, a 1 minute 8.6 on his soft tires. That just is about 4/100ths faster than the Gaffa, who is now starting a hot lap on the medium tires, interestingly. Currently then, Johan, also on the medium tires, the slowest of them all, so he'll probably go out on a new set of soft tires very soon. 5 drivers having not set a lap time just yet in Rocky Ooze, Nevo, Bibex, VAM and Daigoro. VAM, who is now second in the driver championship after a P5 in Spain. He'll be looking to set another strong time. Speaking of which, let's actually join him here in his car and see what he can do. A purple second sector, so that's pretty good. It sounds like the audio is having some serious issues. I do apologize for that. Not much I can do at the moment. Let's just enjoy the stream altogether anyway. Second sector purple then. Final sector coming across the line very soon. VAM, what time will he set? And it is the fastest time, a 1 minute 8.5 then. The Gaffa now down to P3 and back into pit lane, probably having scrubbed a bit of his medium tires there. Of course, that would never be a faster time than a 1 minute 8.7 on a harder compound tire. Bpix then ahead of the current pole sitter, the AM, on his outlap at the moment, getting himself ready to get that quick run in. And here is the other Haas driver, who's also gone out on the medium tires, strangely. Now, of course, that might be for tactical reasons, but judging by the other times set on the medium tires, I have not many high hopes here. Moving out of the way here, of course, is pretty dangerous. Is Matrix passing him in P11 at the moment. Just getting passed there by another driver in the standings. Now down to P11, his teammate Rocky Ooze now sitting in P12. Taisu over there, the current driver championship leader, is in P9 as we speak, almost a second down on the provisional pole position. Now that is a bit of a surprise to me. Let's see and hope that he can do better. Bit of a lock up there. Yellow flags ahead as someone is slowing down Matty to let Matrix past. But here's Taisu then. Second, 3/10 up on his previous time. That would bring him to more or less about P7 at the moment. But it's not over yet. Oh, it's a bit wide there, very near the wall. That's not the apex you want to get there. But there he comes then across the line. It's still a 1 minute 9.4. P10 then at the moment. As Matrix has actually improved to P7. He told me in chat that he's really hoping to get a strong lap time in here. P8 is not what he is looking for probably in terms of strong lap times. Let's see here then, the Gaffa currently on an invalidated lap, so he's saving his ERS. Sky Kotova has retired from the session and it's on track, so it looks like a crash then. And there he is, yes, that was definitely a crashed car. So that is qualifying over for Sky Kartoffel. Currently sitting in P10, but it looks like many more people will improve their lap times very soon as we have not a lot of time left in this qualifying session. Let's see here, oh dear, it's Haas without a front wing driving back to the pit lane, while a Alpha Tauri is approaching quickly from behind. He's gonna have to move out of the way, and of course he does. Now the medium tire tactics are no longer going to work for him. He's gonna have to go back into pit lane then to get his car fixed. Big Bigs in the meanwhile coming across the line to start his hot lap. Looks like the crashed car of Sky Kotova has impeded his previous lap. He was in a pretty nasty position there for a crash, which probably has impeded a lot of drivers in that place. Currently 7/100ths up on his previous time, so that's not enough. Although, let's be fair, everybody down until P8 is now in the 1 minute 8s, so a lot of time improvements are coming up now. And they'll have to, but there's only 5.5 minutes left in this session. Through the tunnel then. Ooh, that looked like a little bit of scraping on the wall, but his car is fine apparently. No lockups there. Into the left-hander. Ooh, and that is actual damage, as he actually had a purple second sector. And more damage, now he's lost his entire front wing, which might be a problem for the Gaffa, as he might run into some debris, and he does run into some debris. However, his second sector is purple. No harm done from that debris. And there he comes around the final two corners, up to the main straight, DRS on. And there he comes then, across the line. It is a 1 minute 8.6, just 8/100ths of a second of pole position. So well done to him, a strong time, just barely faster than Gilmove. Speaking of which, he'll probably be desperate for a bit of redemption after having not such a great race in Spain, nor in Bahrain, so he'll want a strong result today. Now then, looks like most drivers are going to prepare for their final run. Matrix is already preparing for that final run, currently sitting in P10, 8/10ths of pole position. Zane is currently on a hot lap. Let's see here as he comes through the tunnel across the second sector, nearing the chicane. No wall scraping there. A nice, neat chicane taken there. Turning left towards the swimming pool, second sector then, 2/10ths up on his time. Zane at the moment heading for a low 1 minute 9 or a high 1 minute 8, which will not be enough for pole position, but certainly an improvement in time. There he comes then, DRS online. Across the line, it's going to be a That's going to be a 1 place improvement. It's only 1 minute 8.9. And let's be fair, Matrix is now also setting a lap time, currently 2/10 faster. He'll need a bit more than that if he wishes to climb a bit higher on this current leaderboard of qualifying. There he comes into the chicane. No, he's going straight on. He wants to restart his lap, that's for certain. Otherwise he wouldn't have gone straight through. Not happy with his lap at the moment. So he's gonna have a redo as the time is ticking away. Several drivers then are coming back onto the track, preparing themselves as Matrix is heading into the pit lane. And I'm afraid that's qualifying over for him. BBX now starting his lap, currently sitting in P8, about 4/10 of pole position. It's not a lot, so it's definitely possible. But he needs to set a strong lap. Ooh, that was a nasty oversteering moment over there. I was speaking of understeer earlier, but that was a lot of oversteer there. Nearly lost his car. 1 second down on his time already. So not good enough. Definitely not good enough. The Gaffa then on his outlap as his teammate, who's finally set a time, currently sitting in P15. Not satisfied with that most likely. Johan has now improved to 1 minute 8.9. Also going for it for this hot lap. Let's see if he can do it. Let's see what's going on in Sector 1 here as Perseguili now goes fastest overall with a 1 minute 8.4. Strong lap from him. He's now the provisional pole sitter. BBX with an invalidated lap is not going to improve in his time. What can the Nevo man here do as he comes now into the main straight? It is going to be a 1 minute 9. It is P12 only. Not good enough as the Potato now comes across the line. It's still a 1 minute 9.8. No, it's 1 minute. Yeah, what's that? 1 minute 8.9. Sorry, just the other way around. Let's see here. Dan Daigoro has improved to P6. As Perseguili's teammate Zane is now sitting in P11 and Daigoro's teammate Johan sitting in P10 has now started his hot lap. However, it's the Gaffa I'm currently most interested in. He is now starting his hot lap. Can he get back to pole position? He was in pole position for a while, but currently almost 2/10 of that position there. Sitting in P3, second row of the grid. What can he do to improve his time? Let's see here. Sector 1, no, down on his time by 86 milliseconds. Not good enough yet. Turning the corner. Well, there's a yellow flag for a slow-going Red Bull after the tunnel. Letting past a Ferrari, most likely Johan. There he comes then. Getting closer and closer to the Williams ahead of him. It's Guillemot. The AM is now across the line, setting the third time for the time being, as BBX has improved to P2 just barely. Oh, this is way too tight. Well, that was way too tight. That's not what the Gaffa wanted, I'm afraid, and I am not sure that this will be a pole position, and it isn't. It will not be pole position for him, as most drivers are now coming in. Looks like this guy, I doubt he's actually setting a hot lap there. No, he isn't. He definitely isn't. He doesn't have enough ERS, almost out of fuel. So that is not going to happen for him today. Nevo there cutting the corner to make sure he will not be in the way of anybody else. And we have a crash. Daigoro has crashed after getting very close to Matrix there. What has happened? Two guys already crashed in qualifying. Now that hopefully will not set the tone for the upcoming race. Anyway, we have our pole sitter Perseguili, P1 with a 1 minute 8.4, followed by just 9 milliseconds slower BBX in P2, the other guy in the front row there, VAM third, and the Gaffa in P4. That's your first 2 rows of today. Then, of course, filling up the rest of the grid is Gilmove in P5, Daigoro in P6, Matty P7, Zane in 8th, iBlue in P9, Potato rounding off the top 10 there. Johan in his cursed P11. As he already had 2 P11s previously in Bahrain and Spain. As the race finishes, he'll now start from that position. What can he do in Monaco to improve on that? Anyway, Persegili, who's currently sitting 3rd in the Drivers' Championship, has the best papers, starting from pole position there. But look at the top 3, all within 1/10 of one another. Very, very impressive. So let's see what will happen in the race. And hopefully, of course, the frame rate and sound issues will be solved by then. I just got confirmation that Daigoro was actually on a hot lap with his low ERS. So, some stuff went wrong there, and Matrix might be in trouble for that. As Daigoro currently is saying that he's got interrupted by 3 cars during his hot lap. So that's quite extraordinary. But not surprising on a tight track like this. Now then, looks like it's going to be dry throughout the race as it's sunny at the moment. So I do not foresee any issues. Starting very soon. It's going to happen. Let's see what the race is going to be. Strategies, of course, the top 10 will start on the soft tires and the sub top 10, so P11 to P16, might likely start on the medium tire, although this is Monaco and maybe starting on the soft tire will play out more handily. But let's find that out as we are going on the formation lap here. Let's have a little look at the tires of everybody here. And there we go. The top 10 then on the soft tires. 4 guys on the sub top 10 on the mediums, 1 on the hard, and Rocky Ooze is starting on the soft tire. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So then, winner prediction. Once again, let me know in the chat if you're there. Who will win the race? Would it be like in real life, pole sitter winning the race, driving away from everybody else? Well, let's be honest. The qualifying times of the people in P1, 2 and P3 were very close. So it's anybody's guess basically. Just as long as they don't do any heroics into send the vote. I just made that joke before Jeff was able to do it. Pit stop strategy here. A one stop is the most obvious thing to go with. Either to medium or hard tires. My prediction is that everybody on the soft will go to mediums and everybody on mediums might go to softs. Skykatov then is the only odd one here. Let's see what he does. I still think soft, medium, medium, soft is the fastest strategy than any strategy on the hard tire, unless of course there's a safety car. In which case you should switch to hards immediately. We're waiting for the grid to form up and get ready for the race. Here we go then. The lights are turning on. It's 5 red lights and away we go. It looks like a strong start for the racing. However, B-Bix is not bad either. It looks like the AM has actually got the best start here. He's lucky to go there, otherwise he might have hit the Mercedes there. He's now in 2nd place. An incredible start for the AM. And look at this, fighting for the lead now. It's tight racing here on this track. And they are actually proving that, as Persegili just barely manages to stay ahead of the AM. What a fantastic start for him. Nearly got into the lead of the race. Now that is very impressive, as we have our first yellow flag, most likely due to the cars here going incredibly slowly. I don't see anybody on the map standing still, so it looks like everybody's gone through safely, as there are several fights going on the track here, especially here in the midfield where everything is tight as usual. Several cars they are passing one another, and VAM once again showing his pace in the opening phase of this race. That's kind of sounded like a poem. I'm aware of that. I'm sorry. There was no other words I could find for that anyway. Looks like the top 3 is already starting to slightly run away from the GAFA in P4. Now that the first lap is over, let's actually have a little look at the position changes here, as already Daigoro actually has entered the pit lane here. Most likely for a new front wing, so another great start, as Rocky Ooze is also fallen behind quite a lot. And this is currently where we stand then. VAM, fantastic race start, and now chasing down the race leader. Bebix fallen to P3, and several other guys who've made up some places here. Zane Fast, for example, made up 2 places. Potato made up 2. And Daigoro now fallen down 10 places from his starting position due to a pit stop. Let's see what tires he's gone onto. He's gone to a set of medium tires here. Either he's going to go for another set of softs, or he's going to hope for a safety car. Nonetheless, he's already fulfilled the required tire switch here from one compound onto another. I'm going to keep a close eye on the minimap as well today, as Rocky Ooze has got a massive time penalty there. 10 seconds for corner cutting. Not entirely sure what his intentions were there, as the AM now sets the fastest lap. Now the chase has begun for the lead in the race. But what can they do? What can the AM do? And already Matty's got a 3-second time penalty there as well. Rocky Ooze entering the pit lane. Is he going to sit out the penalty? Is he going to retire? He is retiring from the race. He's already had enough of this track. It's over for him then. As I said, the top 3 is moving away from the rest of the field. The GAFA already at 1.7 seconds there, as Gilmove is keeping up with him. Zane Fast keeping up with them as well. And Matty trying to close that gap there with 1.1 seconds behind Zane. But this is where the... Oh my goodness, that was some over brightness down the camera. This is where the real fight's going on. Persegili is struggling a little bit. VAM is keeping under pressure big time. And Bebix is having problems trying to keep up there. So it looks like it's going to be a fight for the lead here between these 2 cars. And pit strategy might be key in the races of both of these guys. Or maybe the 3 of them, as Bebix still got DRS there. DRS, let's be honest, is not very effective on this track, as it's barely enough to close up the gap but not be able to overtake. You'll have to be really close at the corner exit before the start-finish line in order to actually stand a small chance of overtaking. The better overtaking spot is, of course, by the end of the tunnel, but then again, you need to be close enough still, as Daigoro now sets the fastest lap on his medium tires. Tight racing then for the race leader. He's gonna have to make sure he'll make no mistakes, otherwise VAM will be right on him and most likely even past him, as several lockups are happening there. But no severe things are going on at the time, as we have a bit of a tight moment here between Matty and Potato. Potato is getting a bit impatient behind the McLaren. He'd like to get past there, but no success so far. Good lord, the stream is actually lagging so badly, I have no idea why. As Matty now heads into the pit lane, he is already realizing probably that his tires are not doing a fantastic job here today. Why on earth is my stream lagging so much? I've got no clue, if I'm completely honest. So let's actually switch several things to medium in the hopes that the game will stop lagging around, as Persegili nearly makes a 360 there. He drifts through the corner, but he's still ahead somehow. Looks like it is slightly improved here, the lag. Let's hope it stays that way. Anyway, that's nearly the lead gone there for Persegili as he drifted into that corner. The AM is definitely keeping enough pressure on. And he is feeling it. He is feeling it very much. Matty is now in last place as he's gone into the pit lane. I think he has replaced his front wing as he's now very far behind the rest of the field. So it looks like he was holding up that group a lot. And he's now driving around with certainly a fresh front wing. What can the AM do though? Can he attack Persegili for the lead of the race? Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The stream is really not cooperating tonight. Let's see if I can actually do something else here. Let's have a little switch between both screens here. Actually quite terrible, isn't it? There we go. It's not much I can do, so unfortunately we are going to have to live with the lag as Guillemot is now under pressure from Zane Fast for P5. B-Bix is no longer able to keep up with the pace of the top two then, as he's slowly but surely losing time. Persegili, oh dear, 3-second time penalty. That will not be good news for the race leader, as he's currently unable to get away from the guys in P2 and P3. So, once again, will he be screwed or not by his time penalty? As last time he led the race, but lost due to a 3-second time penalty. That one was won by Taisu, and this time his teammate VAM is in contention for that victory. Racing is incredibly close. Of course, it's going to be very difficult for them to get past one another. The timing has to be absolutely perfect here. 7/10, as you can see, is not going to be enough to get past. Let's actually see how the ERS is doing on both guys. They're both doing fine on the ERS, as B-Bix's battery level is starting to fall a bit short compared to the other two. He's trying everything to keep up, but he is definitely losing ground fast now. More than a second behind, almost 1.5 seconds behind now. As Zane is still putting on the pressure there on Guillemot. He's literally almost pushing that Williams through the corners here. He's very, very, very close. And he might just try and have a little go here. Oh, as Guillemot makes a massive lock up there. Zane Vos is almost side by side, and Guillemot plays it safe and goes into the pit lane. That nearly went very wrong there. But Guillemot decided to bail out for the time being. And now Zane Vos is unleashed. Well, not really, as his ERS is almost done for, and Potato still got plenty, so he'll easily be able to keep up for the time being. Persegili then, fighting for his first place, trying to get that 3-second gap, which is currently not possible as the VAM is constantly keeping the pressure on. A massive lockup there from B-Bix, who's falling behind more and more, and the Geffa is not able to keep up with B-Bix in his turn. And now we still have this very, very, very long train of cars here, all the way from P5 down to P... Well, we can easily say it's all the way down to P12, no, P13 maybe even. Daigoro is now slowly starting to join the train as well. There comes the DRS on, and Zane still very low on ERS. So Potato might be able to make his move somewhere at some point. As now iBlue is under a very big pressure from Johan in P8. And we have something going on. We have something going on. Both guys are here ghosting, and VAM is now past Perseguili. Was this due to the fact that Perseguili was ghosting? Was there a mistake? Unfortunately, we missed here the move and change of the lead of the race. However, Perseguili is of course not going to give in that easily. He's still on the tail of the AM, as the AM is trying to pull the gap here from the race leader. B-Big still not able to close the gap despite the overtake there, so I think Perseguili ghosted all the way through, and the AM is now safely ahead, maximizing the advantage there. And he's going in. He is going in, trying to go for the undercut, as Perseguili is continuing round the track, as is B-Bix and the Gaffa. Most drivers are continuing actually, as let's see where the AM will come out. He's now on the medium tires, heading for pit exit, and it looks like he'll be behind the long train, and he will be quite a few ways behind, so that might be good news for him. However, there's two other guys there who are now past him as well, and these are fighting for a position, and he might be stuck behind them for a while. So no great news for him there, as iBlue is now also exiting the pit lane, coming out in P13. Desperate fight here going on between Skykartoffel and Daigoro. Gilmov then getting a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits too many times, 3 times in a row. You all know what that means. And look at this, it's very, very close. I didn't expect the race to be it's relatively tight, if I'm fair. Not many overtakes happening, and the most important overtake we unfortunately missed on the camera, as we were focusing on this tight battle going on here. Potato, being a little bit too greedy, is now a bit further behind Zane. And Johan is still putting on the pressure properly, and we see now then B-Bix entering the pit lane, and Perseguili is still going. So that means now Potato and P3, as Johan is getting closer and closer, side by side. No, he wouldn't dare. That would be a bit too close and a bit too scary, if we're honest, but he's not giving up yet. Let's see here, still very tight and very close, which the cameras would be a bit more cooperating. As now DAM has closed the gap there to Daigoro, is going side by side, going for a move. Daigoro clearly having all the tires, of course. DAM needs to get past in order to get his undercut to work, as he's now stuck behind 2 cars that are slower than he is. Trying to make it work here. I believe I saw something of front wing flying there. Yeah, it looks like I was wrong there. It seems both front wings are still fine of both cars in front. So then, the AM stuck, as both cars in front are going side by side, as Daigoro is finally getting past Skykartoffel, and that is a touch. That is a touch and go, ladies and gentlemen. Skykartoffel is now turned around, as he's got nudged on his front wing by Daigoro, who desperately wanted to get past. Now that might be a thing for the FIA to investigate. Oh dear, and there is a nudge into the wall by DAM. Really not what he wants, as Perseguili is now in the pit lane. Will he be able to go out ahead? No, he will not, as DAM is now comfortably ahead of him. The undercut has worked, despite the fact that he was stuck behind a few slower cars. 2.2 seconds he more or less gained there on Perseguili. Perseguili waited too long there, but now he might be able to close the gap, as DAM is still stuck behind Daigoro, and he is slowing down, so I think there is some damage to his front wing. He was easily able to keep up, but after that nudge to the wall, he's now slowly falling back, and look at that. Perseguili is now starting to gain on him, slowly but surely. 2 seconds more or less remain for him until he gets to the race. Technical race lead there. Johan is currently leading the race, of course. He still has to stop, as has Nevo, Matrix and Daigoro. As Daigoro pitted pretty much at the start of the race due to front wing issues. Looks like, of course, they'll be going on for a while longer. Let's see then. Perseguili, yes, is definitely gaining, and DAM is definitely losing time to the car in front of him. So that is not going well. Several people are getting time penalties there. Zane and Skykartoffel got 3-second time penalties. And Skykartoffel got another 5 seconds added to his time due to the fact that he sped into the pit lane. The AM then is not having the race he wished to have, as he's now under serious pressure from the technical race leader, soon to be, in fact. Yeah, the delay is massive. I'm not entirely sure what you mean with that. If you mean with that the lag, then yes, I do apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. I have no clue what my PC is doing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to work with what I have currently, but it's not optimal. I do know, and I'm aware. That is, of course, if you mean that by the delay. Anyway, I'm not going to get distracted anymore with the lag, as there's nothing I can do, and it's only going to distract me more from the racing here. And the racing is tight. The AM then in trouble. Is he going to go into the pit lane to get his front wing fixed? No, he's not. He knows it's not easy to pass on this track, so he's trying to keep his track position over fixing his front wing. Persegili, though, in hot pursuit, still got plenty of ERS, and he's going to try and make that move here. It's not yet possible, as the AM does defend hard. He really doesn't want Persegili and the guys behind to get past. The thing is, though, all three of them have time penalties, but I do think that once they get past, they'll drive away quite easily, as the AM is already 4 seconds behind Daigoro, who is on older tires at the moment. Johan then, still leading the race, comfortably ahead of the pack chasing him in Mivo, Matrix and Daigoro. Ooh, that was a bit of a luck up there. No problems just yet. However, this is the fight we want to watch for the technical race lead. VAM still leading this increasingly growing train of cars, which is now 5 cars strong. And Persegili is getting increasingly desperate here to get past, of course. But VAM is doing well to defend. But here, something might happen then, actually. Nah, it's so tight. It's not yet possible. It is not yet possible. B-Bix then also joining in the fight here. Some weaving going on. Some defending going on. And might there be a lunge here in the inside? No, not yet. VAM does know how to defend and where to defend. And he does know how to do that well. So good on him. Going strong still. No penalties yet for VAM, but it seems like this track is very penalty prone, as already several drivers have got a few penalties under their belt. Not what I want, of course. Especially the guys behind VAM, as... Whoa, now there they go. That's a move. Side by side here. It tried to go around the outside Persegili, but not succeeding just yet. However, he's in a very strong position now. Now this might be the chance to get side by side with VAM. However, defending the inside is a good idea. No, then it's over for VAM. Persegili finally passed, and immediately he's under pressure from B-Bix, who's trying to move around his inside in this corner here, and he does get past. Well done to him. And that's VAM now down to P7 and P8 even, as Matty is trying to make a move here and succeeds as well. VAM trying to defend the inside on the hairpin, getting a bit of contact there. But Matty does the job, and I think it's now time for VAM to think what to do. Track position or a new front wing, because I'm 100% sure that his front wing is damaged now. Otherwise, he would have easily been able to keep up with the group of Daigoro and the rest. That's his race over, it seems. What will he do? Let's see. Is he going to go in a pit lane, as now the Gaffa is trying to get him past him impatiently there? And yes, as predicted, he is going in and onto a new set of tires and a new front wing. And there we have confirmation that his front wing was indeed badly damaged, or at least enough damaged so that he was not able to race properly anymore. And now the race for the technical lead is going between Persegidi and Bebix, and Bebix this time is able to keep up with the race leader for the time being. Let's see how he does in ERS terms though, and he's doing just as fine as Persegidi is. So then, Persegidi now is on his way for his first race win, as Bebix behind him also got a 3-second time penalty, I believe. Yes, he does, and Matty's got even more. So then, interesting to see what will happen as Johan is increasing his gap more and more, as he's got plenty of free air to extend his gap as much as possible. Although he still has to make a pit stop, he is doing very well today. No race win for him for the time being, unless of course a safety car is deployed right now, which would play fantastically into the hands of him and most likely Nevo, Matrix and Daigoro as well. So then, several fights have now settled down, as Bebix is actually now, as I said that he was keeping up, now losing ground to Persegidi. I think that is his heroics over for now. Guillemot then having a bit of trouble here with keeping Potato behind. The fight for P11 here going on very fiercely. And it seems that Guillemot is on the hard compound tire over here. And as such, Potato is a bit faster through the corners. But for the time being, he's able to keep him behind. And Potato is too far behind here to try anything. We are almost halfway through the race here. Johan started his 19th lap, so when he's halfway this lap, we're officially at the halfway point. Nobody is out except Rocky Ooze, who is retired in the pit lane, so no crashes yet there, as there's now a Ferrari 1-2 in this race, which is interesting. And there we actually have a crash. As I said it, there's no crash. I keep jinxing things. How do I do that? Skykartoffel has crashed. Crashed in qualifying and now crashed in the race. So, yeah, that's not great for him. He's out. He's out. The AM then setting the fastest lap with a fresh front wing. Now he's able to go strong. So then, two drivers out. One in the pit lane, one crashed at the swimming pool pretty much. So unfortunate for Skykartoffel, but no points for him today. There he is then, the race leader, now in for his first and only pit stop. And he'll be switching to a set of hard tires. That is what he will do indeed. Now the other Ferrari, Daigoro, is leading the race, and Persegidi has now closed up to the group. Matrix then a bit in trouble here, as he extended his stint a long time in the Bahrain race, where he actually was able to go from mediums to softs. He might be able to do the same here. That would be interesting and impressive at the same time. Nevo there getting a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as we have him retiring from the race. So that's Nevo out as well, and that means we only have 13 drivers remaining on the track. The Gaffer then fighting over the position of P5 here with Matty. However, Matty does have that 6-second time penalty, so the Gaffer can rest easy knowing that you get the position anyway. And there's two guys ahead of him who still have to pit, so that will be P4 for sure. Persegidi then finally getting caught. I think the Matrix decided to not put much of a fight there, as he knew he would not be able to keep that position. He let both Persegidi and Bebix pass, as they both have made their pit stops. And that means Matrix is now falling down to P4. So now Persegidi can put on the chase to Daigoro, who's still out on his old medium tires. He's had them for about 21 laps there. No, actually, that's 20 laps as he pitted at the end of the first lap, and he's now leading the race. It's interesting to see what a comeback people can make in terms of pit strategy there. So well done to him. And as you can see, Matrix's tires are now causing him to fall back quickly from the chasing pack of Persegili and BBX, of course. Oh dear, he touched the wall. He did touch the wall there. Now he's having a bit of more issues there, as now some dangerous situations, and he knows better, of course, than to keep fighting those positions. He lets them both pass, and I think he's got no choice but to pit now. Matty forced to pit as well, as I think he's got front wing damage too. Coming in then for his second pit stop, and yes, off goes his front wing, a new set of medium tires, a new front wing on. And Matrix, after driving a pretty impressive race, is now forced to pit for a set of hard tires and a new front wing. I don't think that's what he wanted. Persegili is pretty much caught up to Daigoro, who's still yet to pit. Let's see what he will do. He knows now that pretty much everybody else behind him has now come in. So what will he do? He still continue. I think he might try and go for the soft tires and then go all the way to the end of this race. Although we have to be careful what he will do with the technical race leader in Persegili, followed by the technical P2er here, BBX. And the GAFA is now in third place, as VAM has fallen away from this group here. He is now sitting in 11th place. And Potato then trying for real this time, although it's not good enough, it's not close enough. He's very, very close, but he should be side by side before the corner happens in order to stand a chance here of overtaking. Guillemot then, once again, locking up there. And the Potato is just trying to get the corner is slightly faster. It's not enough yet though, as they're now connecting to the group of Zane, Fast and iBlue. And the Potato is having to wait again. Back to the front then, as BBX is now within DRS range again, and trying to catch Persegili, who is already caught Daigoro now. He's pretty much within 1 second as we speak. He's gone outside a second again though. However, as you can see, his tires are still fresher than Daigoro's, who's now got pretty much ancient tires, prehistoric medium tires there. And he's still going in the lead, but I do fear that he'll lose a lot of time once he pits. Matty then setting the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 10.2. Of course, after getting a fresher set of tires, that's not very surprising. This is where the things are very close. In the middle of the field, Zane, Guillemot and Potato are racing here for position, and Potato keeps having a look, but it's not enough just yet. Let's see here. Now this is interesting. It looks like, yes, it seems the AM is getting led past by Taisu, although Taisu is leading the championship. VAM is faster on these fresher medium tires than Taisu is, and therefore he's allowed to get past. Looks like team orders to me there. Zane Fast is in for the pit stop there. Might be damage to his front wing, because it would be his second stop if I calculated that correctly. Let's see if I'm right here. Stops. Yes, that's his second stop indeed. Let's see what happens in terms of tire age here. 23 lap old medium tires there, of course, for Daigoro, who's still going on. And I'm almost 100% sure now he'll be going to the soft tires and then last until the end of the race. He might just go for that fastest lap. Now the question is, where will he come out? I think he'll come out behind Johan, and if he's not careful, he'll also come out behind the AM. Now Persegidi is going to try and get past here, of course, but he does know that Daigoro still has to pit, so he might just sit behind and save some ERS, which in fact he is doing, as he's pretty much got a full battery here. So that's a smart tactic there of him to do, but it does allow BBix to stay with him. Thing is though, both of them can save their tires and push until the end of the race later on, once Daigoro is in. Unless, of course, they see that Daigoro is holding them up too much, then they might try something. However, for the time being, I think it's wise of them both to stay behind them. Guillemot then, in the meanwhile, still being haunted by Potato as we have a crash. It's the AM! The AM has crashed! He's out of the race! Oh no, that's the Alpine driver who's been plagued by bad luck in this race. He's now out. Taisu gone back past him and still no safety car, despite the fact that he's pretty much in the middle of the track. Safety car that would have played beautifully in the hands of Daigoro, however it's not going to happen. With the AM then out of the race, that means 4 drivers are now out, and that makes 12 drivers remaining on track. As Taisu is now under serious pressure from Matty, who's got a much fresher set of medium tires. And now, what is he going to do? Is he going to try to go for a lunge? Is Taisu going to go and let him past? I don't think so, because he's now the only Alpine driver left, and he wants to keep that strong position in the Constructors' Championship, of course, as well as the Drivers' Championship, as he's not doing too great today. Guillemot getting a new front wing here, as there probably be some issues with him there. And looks like Taisu is now out of ERS, and Matty still got quite a bit of it, compared to him, of course, that is. He's having a look. There's a massive lock up there from Taisu. And Matty is trying to do every trick in the box there. He's getting the corner there just a little bit better. However, he's still behind Taisu for the time being. Now this might be a chance. Will they come out side by side? Yes, they do come out side by side. However, Taisu's got the inside line, and therefore he's still able to stay ahead, as Matty's tires are slowly but surely growing older and older. So at some point he's going to have to try. Taisu's still got no ERS left to play with. So I think it's a matter of time before Matty is able to get past. He's trying to take the corner just a bit wider there. However, Taisu's moving himself around the outside. And then this is on the main straight there. He's too far behind, it seems, to get a move done here. No heroics here, of course. That would be foolish. However, that means he's very close now. And now he's going to have an opportunity, a proper opportunity. However, Taisu defending strongly there, moving from one way to another. And Matty frustrated behind the wheel, trying to get past him here. This is, of course, for the points, and Taisu knows it. He'll try to scrape every single point he can to himself. And Zane has now made another pit stop, and not going well for him today. Now all the way down in last place. Now this might be an opportunistic move there. Oh, that's very, very harsh defending. The weaving going on in the tunnel could have been the end of either car, and now they touch. And there has been contact there. And now they've crashed again. They have crashed. Now this is the result of frustration, I'm afraid. Matty kept driving into Taisu. Now that is going to be an interesting situation for the FIA. What has happened there? Matty now most likely with front wing damage. Taisu having to come in for a nose change now behind Matty. And he'll be fuming most likely, as he's lost his points there. Matrix is now able to jump them both while they are getting a new front wing in the pit lane, so he will not be able to believe his luck. There he comes then, past both, now in P9. both Matti and Taisu are getting a new set of soft tires. They'll be able to set their fastest lap. Meanwhile, Daigoro is still leading the race. And he has already done that first pit stop. And now I'm starting to doubt whether I was right. I think since he started on the softs, he no longer has to stop. I think he's going to try and finish the race on this set of tires. Now that might be very, 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 very interesting if he can make that work. Perseguidi still strongly giving chase. Now this is Ferrari versus Mercedes, as we haven't seen for several years in real life now. Daigoro is trying to keep Perseguidi behind. Let's see how they do in terms of penalties. They're both on 3 seconds there, as Matrix gets 3 additional seconds as I speak of penalties there. However, these guys are equal on penalties, and Daigoro, after having a pretty abysmal start, is now leading the race still. Thing is though, what can Perseguidi do? He's getting closer and closer and closer. Is he gonna have a look around the inside? No, of course he isn't. He was too far away. That would have been a bit too optimistic there. Bibix falling behind in the meantime, and he will not like that, as the Gaffa is still without penalties. And if the Gaffa is able to close the gap properly, he might be in contention for a race win. But nonetheless, Daigoro, being last in the opening phase of the race, might score some strong points here for his team. We see Taisu then in for another pit stop. That is not his race today, after having an interesting collision with Matti there. Curious on what both of them have to say about that one. Of course, it's never easy to judge from an outside perspective on what happened. Did he decide to keep pushing into Taisu there, Matti that is, after bumping into him out of frustration? Was Taisu weaving too much in the tunnel? It's up to the FIA really to decide that. The race for the lead, however, is still going strong, and Daigoro is magically still keeping up, as now Matti's had a massive crash here, lost his entire front wing, and is gonna have to pit as well. Not a great race for him either. He was going quite strongly, but after the crash with Taisu, things are falling down fast. Retire then from the race, Matti, the 5th retirement on the Monaco Grand Prix. And Zane is coming in as well again for another set of tires. This time he's going for the soft tires. And he's now within the points. And we have another crash there, as Guillemot has now lost control of his Williams and is now driving around without a front wing. It looks like many drivers by the end of the race are losing their concentration, and therefore many more crashes are starting to happen. And here is the Gaffa. As I said, he's caught up with the group, and a lot quicker than I anticipated. And he is in some seriously strong position for the race win here. He's already passed Bibix in terms of penalties. He's already in 3rd place technically, and he does need a bit more in order to potentially win the race. Perseguidi though can't believe his bad luck here, as Daigoro just keeps pounding on in front of him. This is amazing. It's actually amazing to see how Daigoro is able to keep Perseguidi behind. Perseguidi still got all of his ERS available, but it's not enough. Daigoro knows when to use it. But he is very low on ERS now. Perseguidi, however, is still just under 3/10 away from him, which is not enough for him to overtake. The Gaffa, meanwhile, is putting on some serious pressure on Bibix. He knows he's going to be able to catch the other two if he gets past. He wants that. If he's able to, he can still win the race. So it's still everybody's game. It's either going to be Daigoro, Perseguidi, or the Gaffa winning this race. Of course, Bibix is still not out of contention either, but he'll need some serious luck. He'll need both of these guys to get penalties, and then he'll still need to overtake them. The question is, of course, will that happen? we are nearing the end of this fascinating race. Despite not many overtakes happening, it's still a lot of things that do have happened here. Several incidents with cars spinning, cars crashing into one another. An interesting change of the lead in that Daigoro is now leading that race, and he's still going strong here. However, Persegidi is now really close on his tail. Now this might be a chance for him, side by side with Daigoro. Daigoro though still ahead around the outside. Persegidi's got the inside light, however Daigoro will have the inside light here. Still side by side. Now this is proper racing, a bit of a contact there. And now Daigoro is somehow still ahead. Now, however, Persegidi will have the inside line in the hairpin. And with his superior tires, he just squeezes Daigoro nearly into the wall. And that is it. Daigoro no longer leading the race. He's finally being defeated by Persegidi. But man, has it taken a long time. Daigoro put an excellent fight there. B-Bix has been able to catch up, and the Geffa has been able to catch up. I do believe he's within 3 seconds needed to win the race. Let's see. Yes, he is. He's within 2 seconds actually. If he can stay that way, he can win the race still. And Persegidi will be, well, another win will be taken away from him by the fact that he was having 3 seconds time penalty and that somebody behind him within that range didn't. It happened in Spain, it might happen again. However, he's gonna have to push like mad in order to get away from the rest of the field here. The Gaffa knows he has to get past B-Bix. However, he's only 1.4 seconds away from the race leader here. It's all getting incredibly tight, and look at this, Daigoro's pace is now starting to fall away quickly. Now B-Bix is right on his tail. Daigoro knows it's over, most likely. And the Gaffa cannot believe his luck either. Thing is though, iBlue is also getting close to that 3 second range, and so is Potato. So, Persegidi might lose more than he wants. B-Bix is certainly going to lose a lot of places here today. He's certainly going to fall to P6. Oh, that's a bit of a drift there, going through the corners. A very exciting closing stage of the race here. The Gaffa is having a look everywhere he can. He's still within 3 seconds, so he's still going to win the race like this. But he does know that if he gets past, he'll have a bit of an easier time. B-Bix trying every trick in the book to stay ahead. The Gaffa, though, has more ERS available to him. Potato has now also caught the group here. Look at them going. Many lockups happening there. Daigoro's tires are now pretty much ancient. As I said before, prehistoric pretty much. He's still going strong. Still going for the technical P4, I'm afraid. It might become P5 as Potato is now starting to get close to that 3 second range as well. Guillemot then setting the fastest lap of the race. That'll grant him an extra point, as he is in P8 at the moment. The only guy without any points currently is Zanefast in P11, who is already 1 lap behind the race leader, as is Taisu. Not a great day for either of them. But look at this. Look at the chaos. They're all trying to get past one another, and we are now within the final 3 laps of the race. And look at this, finally the Gaffa is side by side and past B-Bix already before the corner here happens. And that's over then for B-Bix, and now the Gaffa can put on the pressure on Daigoro, and he's already side by side with him. He's going berserk here! But the Gaffa is now in 2nd place. And now he knows he's done it. He knows he will win this race. B-Bix has pitted. No, he's fallen down to P6 in fact. Now he's lost a lot of places there. Not going very well for him at all. But he does know there's not much more he could have done anyway. He would have fallen down to P6. Oh, and I see something going on here side by side. Yes, I see them going on. They're fighting, and there's another crash! Another crash there! Oh my goodness, what's going on today? Daigoro then crashed into the wall after hitting several of the cars there. Now, man! Definitely not what either of them wanted. Now Daigoro's in trouble. He's gonna have to pit now. He was doing so well keeping Perseguini behind. But look at that, my friends. My viewers. It's not gone well there at all for him. It all unfolded for him at the end of the race. And now he's forced to pit for a new wing. Will he stay ahead of Johan though? That's the question. Can he still keep his 6th place? And it's just that's pretty much where he started the race as well. Things are no longer very friendly between these drivers. I've got that feeling here. As several drivers have now pushed one another into the wall. I think the FIA is going to have several incidents to look at. And Daigoro then now fallen behind Johan in 7th place. Such a shame. It was going so well for him. Now the Gaffa has unleashed himself in his Haas. He's definitely a race winner today. What an incredible pace this guy has, wow. Look at this. He knows he doesn't have to overtake Perseguini. But he's going to try nonetheless, I'm quite sure. Although, it's the last lap. I wouldn't take any risks if I were him. 4/10 behind, not enough to overtake. Perseguini knows. Perseguini knows. He's once again going to lose several positions because of a time penalty. iBlue is also going to overtake him after the finish here, and Potato has now switched places with BBix once again. They're still fighting for a position here. BBix knows it's a lost battle anyways. He's got 6 seconds time penalty, and Potato really doesn't have to defend very hard, as it's not going to be possible to get 6 seconds ahead for BBix in the final lap of the race. Johan now setting the fastest lap, as Gilmov now has got unleashed an angry, very angry Daigoro behind here. But it's not really his fault though. The FIA anyway is going to have a lot of interesting incidents to watch. If there were any recorded point of views, of course, that is. There is of course the stream here, despite being a laggy mess, and so many apologies for that. I do hope you've enjoyed this race. Now Perseguini is going to cross the line in first, however, we all know he's not going to win it again. Once again, he's being denied a race win here. Ladies and gentlemen, across the line they all come after an incredibly hot and exciting race. The Gaffa then wins the Monaco Grand Prix. iBlue coming home in 2nd place. Perseguini in 3rd. Potato then in 4th place. BBix arrived in 5th position. Johan then, he'll be very happy to get his first points of the season, coming home in P6 unless something dramatic happens in this corner, and it doesn't. There he comes then. 8 points in the bag for him. Well done, good sir. Gilmore was able to keep Daigoro at bay in that final lap, and they are coming home P7 and P8. And P9 is the last car we're waiting for. See, it's the only guy still on the lead lap, as Taisu and Zane Foss have finished their races 1 lap down. However, Taisu will still get 1 point. Zane will get none. Matrix then coming in. Let's see then, Johan getting the fastest lap, so an additional point for him. 9 points on the board then. He'll be very, very pleased, I'm sure. But this is a race where we'll have several things to discuss. Both incidents happened after the chicane before the swimming pool in the 2nd sector. Yeah. Let's see what the drivers will have to say about this race. And once again, so many apologies for the lag. I'll do everything within my power to fix it for next time. I've got no clue why the game is lagging this badly. It might be the game, it might be by software, as the previous 2 races were absolutely fine in terms of performance. Not this time though, and I have no clue why. However, race winner then, the Gaffa winning, followed by BBix, and in 3rd place, once again denied a victory, is Perseguini. Let us see what the drivers have to say about all of this, my friends. And let's check the interview room to see if there's any drivers willing to give their opinion about what happened today. Let's see what the FIA will do after the interesting incidents there between several drivers. Daigoro having a bit of an incident. Matty having a weird accident with Taisu. Let's see what they have to say. But first and foremost, of course, we've got to talk to our race winner. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Gaffa. He's just entered the commentary box as he just is holding that race winner's trophy. Congratulations. I hope you can hear me there. Well done on that race. Please talk us through what happened today, because a lot of things happened.
Yeah, it was a really great race. Well, I started P4. It wasn't a great qualifying lap. But then I got a bad start. But then after that, I just stayed calm. Didn't want to get any penalties. Everybody else got penalties. And I said to myself, just don't get a penalty, don't get any damage, and I'll be all right. And I knew that other people were on alternative strategies, on going long on mediums or pitting early to go on mediums, and they would slow down everybody. So I knew I just had to take my time. I was going to catch them up because their tyres were going to fall off. And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, well done to you. You were falling away a bit from the leading pack at the start of the race. However, in the second half, you definitely pulled your weight. And you are the second driver to deny Persegili another race win here. So that's 25 points in the bag for you. Well done.
Yeah, great. I'm really happy. And Monaco's not one of my strongest tracks, so I was pretty happy. The setup was amazing. Car felt really good.
So how do you look forward to the next few races? Because the next one is going to, of course, be another street circuit, a bit more room, of course. Do you think you can get in the front of the group once again for the next few races?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Baku is my favourite track, so I hope to at least be on the podium at that track. I don't know how competitive the others are, but I'm sure we'll have a great battle.
All right, so then let's have a little bit of a look back to Spain, where you actually had a bit of a less favorable strategy, where you were driving almost in the lead, and now this time, however, you pulled your strategy off well. Did you actually reflect on that, or did you just go and see how this would work out today?
Oh no, I mean, didn't reflect really on Spain. I just wanted to do my best at Monaco, and that was that.
All right. Well, let's see how you will do next week. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you next time.
Pleasure. Bye.
Bye-bye. We also have one of the potatoes joining us today. It is Potato06 now joining us in the commentary box. Good evening, Potato. Can you hear us? Doesn't look like he can hear us just yet.
Hello?
Yeah, there you are. All right, perfect. Now we can hear you all nice and clean. You had an interesting race in the final bit. There was a bit of an incident going on there near the final few laps. What is your point of view on that one? We can't hear you at the moment, Potato. I believe your mic is off or something. No sound just yet.
Oh.
Yeah, but yes. Now we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, perfect.
Oh, that was a good race. Actually had pace for a change. Just wish I could qualify.
So how was the final part of the race for you? Because we're starting to get a bit heated up from our point of view.
It was not bad. I was trying to catch up as much as possible, hoping they would get penalties, but none of them did. And then the Ferrari spun in front of me, but I had nowhere to go.
Ah, I see. Yeah, it was a bit hard to see from the helicopter perspective, but it looked like, yeah, some cars were pushed into one another. Some strong defending going on there by the end, but you did get your P4, so I'm pretty sure you're quite happy today.
Oh, compared to last week, no finishing, I'll take that any day.
Yeah, you've had your fair share of bad luck in Bahrain specifically, where you got the puncture after trying to go for a bold strategy, but everything, I think, worked out today for you, didn't it?
Perfectly, yeah, other than get stuck behind the Williams for quite a while. That was quite a bit quicker, but it's Monaco, so we kinda.
So, is there a podium for you next week?
Oh no, I hate that track so bad. I'm shocking. Honestly, like no, I'll be lucky if I finish.
All right, well, you never know, you never know. Surprises might be in store in Azerbaijan all the time. So let's see how you'll do next week. Thank you for joining us.
No problems, thank you.
All right, cheers. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have the next guy waiting for us. This is Persegili, who's been denied victory twice now. So, of course, that is going to be my first question. That is a second victory denied for you by time penalties. So, how do you feel about that, Persegili?
Of course, it doesn't feel good, but you know, you need to be cleaner to win these races. It's so close.
Yeah, you started in pole position. You were actually able to pull away from the pack, and then the epic battle with VAM happened midway through the race. Talk us through that.
Yeah, he was better on the softs than I was. I struggled quite a lot, but I think on the mediums he had some damage, so I was able to catch him.
Yeah, I can confirm he had to replace his front wing because you were catching him pretty quickly, and he was losing a lot of time to the cars in front who had all the tires. So that must have been a stroke of luck for you then.
Yeah, it takes and it gives some, so never know what happens, to be honest. But Gaffa showed us today that you need to be consistent to win these races.
That is very true. However, are you disappointed or are you satisfied with today's race?
I mean, to be honest, if you start on pole in Monaco, you should win the race. So, a bit disappointed, but podium, say podium.
Podium still, yes, indeed. So, well done to you. And let's see how you'll do in the driver standings. I believe both Taisu and VAM were very low on points. You might actually be seriously in contention for the lead there.
Oh, that sounds nice.
So let's find out what happens in the driver standings, and let's see how you'll do next week on Azerbaijan. Do you have a good feeling about it?
Well, another street circuit, so probably a lot of front wings gone there.
Let's hope a little bit fewer front wings, because today was quite excessive, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
All right, thank you so much for joining, and see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, looks like the ready for interview channel for the tier 2 is now empty. So that will be all for today in terms of interviews. Thank you so much for joining, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, many apologies for the terrible quality of the stream in terms of lag today. I hope you still enjoyed it all. I'll try everything in order to fix whatever is causing the stream to lag as bad. And of course, I hope I will see you all next week while we race in Azerbaijan. Another interesting track with many interesting possibilities. See you then, and a good night to you all.